From co-authors of Project 2025 to sex offenders, dog killers, and everything in between, here is Trump's dream team. Check out ProfessorPride.com for hundreds of ways to show off your pride, like our new 2025 LGBTQ calendar and more. Now that Donald Trump has won the election and will be the first convicted felon to ever become president, it's vital that we look at who he picked to be on his team. Remember, all of these cabinet and top-level positions play a key role in how our government is run and our relations with other countries. First, let's look at his chief of staff, Susie Wiles. She will become the first ever female chief of staff in U.S. history. While that is an accomplishment worth noting, her background is troubling to say the least. She got her start working for Ronald Reagan's campaign, who later became one of the worst presidents in American history. She later went on to help the current governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, get elected, even though he banned education and put a Don't Say Gay law into place. He also had a terrible response to the COVID-19 pandemic, and Susie was the one to help him get reelected. Her management style has been described as running a tight and focused ship, with the main reason she was chosen being her loyalty to Trump and her unique ability to control Trump from his worst impulses. Next up is the new Deputy Chief of Staff, Stephen Miller. He is one of Trump's longest-serving and most trusted advisors. Miller is the key to Trump's plan for mass deportations, as he is the one who planned the deportations of undocumented immigrants. You might also recognize his name because he is also a co-author of Project 2025, a 900-page manifesto calling for the end of Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, gay marriage, adoption, trans rights, and sending people to camps, and much, much more. It's a plan which Trump supporters swore that Trump knew nothing about prior to the election. The new White House counsel will be Bill McGinley. That role is in charge of advising the president on what is legal or not. But Bill was one of the lawyers working to continue the big lie of how the 2020 election was stolen from Trump. So forgive us if we don't have much faith in him having ethics or integrity. That brings us to Trump's new Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth. Unlike some others on this list, Pete does have some defense qualifications, including being a veteran of the Army National Guard, where he did tours in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Guantanamo Bay. He was awarded 2 Bronze Stars and a Combat Infantryman badge. But you should also know that he currently serves as a host for Fox News, and is no longer with the military. In fact, the military condemns him as an extremist, and ordered him to stand down from his service after he covered his body with white nationalist tattoos. These tattoos include the Jerusalem cross on his chest, which is a well-known symbol of white nationalist, Deus Vult, which translates to God will it and references an American crusade, cross and sword referencing Matthew 10:34, which reads, "Do not think that I have come to bring peace to the earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword." And who could forget the American flag with an AR-15 inside of it, among others. Next up is his new Attorney General, Matt Gaetz. He was serving in his 4th term in the U.S. House of Representatives until just yesterday because he is littered with scandals. In 2017, he was the only congressperson to vote no to a bill which made human trafficking illegal. He was also the perpetrator of witness intimidation when he publicly threatened Michael Cohen and his wife one day before Cohen was set to testify against Trump. Gaetz also was alleged to have sex with a 17-year-old girl and paid for her to travel across state lines. His charges were later dropped by the DOJ, and instead, his friend and Florida tax collector, Joel Greenberg, was the only one found guilty and went to jail for 11 years. In his confession, Greenberg admitted that Matt Gaetz paid him to arrange sex with several women, including the 17-year-old girl. Greenberg later released his bank account records showing the payments from Gaetz for these arrangements. So basically, the guy who allegedly had sex with underage girls got away with it and is now Attorney General, but the one who was paid to set it all up went to jail for 11 years. Oh, and in 2021, after those charges were dropped, Matt Gaetz reportedly went around the US Capitol and House floor showing off naked pictures of the girls he was sleeping with. Even Paul Ryan had to meet with him privately to lecture him on how to behave professionally on the House floor. Next up is Trump's new Department of Homeland Security Secretary, Kristi Noem. She is a fierce Christian nationalist who was so proud of murdering her dog and a goat that she wrote about it at length in her book. She was also banned from visiting tribal lands in her home state after she falsely claimed the Native American tribe was infiltrated with drug cartels. And she was sued after promoting a cosmetic dentist business on her governor accounts that she has a financial investment in. Trump's new CIA director, John Ratcliffe, is a longtime Trump loyalist who weaponized the NSA, or National Security Administration. He declassified Russian intelligence, alleging damning information about the Democrats in the final days of the 2016 election. He also argued that America should withhold aid from Israel, which would halt our support of a key strategic ally in the region. And Ratcliffe was the lone defender of Trump during the 2019 impeachment charges against Trump's abuse of power and obstruction of Congress. Next up is Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who has previously been bullied and mocked by Trump. Rubio opposes gay marriage, wants to eliminate all taxes for America's wealthiest individuals, wants to raise the retirement age, doesn't believe climate change is real, and intends on getting rid of healthcare for millions of Americans who can't afford it. Trump's new Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, believes heavily in the deep state, just like Russ Vought, who wrote Project 2025, and wants to completely overhaul the National Intelligence Department and fill it with Trump loyalists, instead of actual spies and career officials. His new national security advisor, Mike Waltz, has advocated for pulling all support from Ukraine and advocated against a woke military, saying women were only hired in the military because they were DEI hires. Next up is border czar Tom Homan, who has somehow also been put in charge of, quote, all maritime and aviation security, which the NSA would rightfully so argue is their jurisdiction. He was a former director of ICE when it carried out record numbers of deportations, and was the architect of 2017's family separation policies. Other cabinet and high-level positions include Trump's U.S. ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, who has advocated against a two-state solution and has rejected the territory of Palestinian people to be called a state. He has also widely condemned the October 7th attack by Hamas, which is a glimmer of hope mixed into this story. Others include Elise Stefanik, who has no diplomatic experience at all but has somehow become UN ambassador, EPA Administrator Lee Zeldin, who has said the EPA will deregulate businesses and said the US should reopen car factories, mining, and should be a leader of AI. All of these things would severely increase pollution, making the Environmental Protection Agency more of an environmental perpetrator agency. Finally, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are now in charge of the Department of Government Efficiency, because nothing says efficient more than two people doing the job of one. For the record, this is a new department. In fact, it's not a department at all. Elon Musk said months ago that Trump should create a Department of Government Efficiency and that he should be the one to lead it. And now Trump is doing just that, which means the richest man in the world is controlling the President of the United States, even before getting into office. Officially, it's being called a commission outside the realm of government. Creating a department would take an act of Congress and make both Elon Musk and Ramaswamy federal employees. That would mean they would have to disclose all connections and assets, which could lead to conflicts of interest. It would also mean they would have to give up control of any large-scale holdings related to their work. For Musk, this means he would have to give up all control of Tesla, SpaceX, and Starlink, all of which get billions of dollars worth of contracts from federal agencies. That's not to mention they made a makeshift situation room in the Mar-a-Lago property for Donald Trump, and every single day Elon Musk is sitting in on highly classified meetings between Donald Trump and foreign leaders that he does not have the clearance to overhear. In the past, Elon Musk has said he wants to cut the number of federal agencies from over 400 to no more than 99. And cut federal spending by more than 1/3 a year by over $2 trillion. That's more than the annual budgets of the Department of Defense, Homeland Security, and Education combined. For the record, Congress controls the budget, so it's going to be a legal fight between this new commission of Trump's and Congress to see who really gets to cut spending. It may not be as legal as you would hope, seeing that Congress is currently controlled by Republicans, many of whom are loyal to Trump. But at the same time, they don't want to give up power, especially not over federal budgets. Speaking of the Department of Education, Trump has yet to pick anyone to lead that department. But Trump has also said he's going to dismantle and completely obliterate the Department of Education. So why pick a leader for something you're just going to get rid of anyway? Only time will tell if these people do a good job once in office, and if they actually last the entire 4 years. Because remember, Trump is pretty famous for firing people, and he's pretty proud of it too. For now, this list is alarming to say the least. All we can do is hope for the best and fight to make things better each and every day, no matter what these people do once in office. We can never give up and never back down. If you'd like to support our show, check out ProfessorPride.com for hundreds of ways to show off your pride. Check them out now along with our LGBTQ books, magnets, pins, umbrellas, digital downloads, and more at ProfessorPride.com. Special thanks to our members and subscribers this month who proudly support our work providing LGBTQ education and resources. Please subscribe to our channel or click on this video to continue enjoying Powered by Rainbows.